Previously, on the Top Elf Games, we got to listen to Peppermint the Peddler tackle the festive field and its gauntlet of challenges, striving to be the next top elf. Welcome back and listen in as the legacy Mistletoe Twinkletoes tries to live up to his dad's reputation, the previous top elf. Those are some curly-toed shoes to fill. Welcome to the Top Elf Games. We look out over a snowy North Pole and Santa's workshop. Large flakes of snow gently drift down from above as the sky grows darker, nighttime approaching. The glow of lights warms the edge of the workshop as we zoom across the cozy little village into the stadium packed full of elves. Welcome to Festive Field! The ground inside the stadium is filled with a maze of decorated trees, their lights filling the whole area with blinking racing colors. Bleachers on each side of the stadium are packed full of rosy-cheeked elf spectators, and high above the lights, near the top, is the special guest box where Santa and Mrs. Claus sit watching the games unfold. Rowdy Yule lads and rambunctious elf hooligans jostle and cheer along the sidelines as they wait for the games to start. Mugs of hot cocoa are raised, and many cookies are being eaten as the fans cheer and shout in excitement.
Welcome to the Top Elf Games, one and all. I am your host and MC, Bling Kringleson, joined by my partner and co-MC, Cranberry Eversong. The contestants have taken the field, and the crowd is very merry indeed.
That's right, Bling. This Top Elf Games is shaping up to be a wonderland of excitement.
Right you are, Cranberry. Let's remember, for any elf watching at home, some of the guidelines for the Top Elf Games. Number 1 is to have fun. We at the North Pole have a lot of work to do all year long, but having fun comes first.
Number 2, don't leave any trace or evidence and stay hidden. When we go out with Santa, it's important that we leave no signs we were there. Preserve that Christmas magic. Stay hidden.
Number 3, remember your training. Elves are highly trained and have all sorts of interesting skills and abilities to fall back on. Use those.
And lastly, number 4, use your imagination. As elves, we can solve any problem if we put our minds to it. Using your imagination to solve problems is the elf way.
Each of the contestants have lined up inside Festive Field. You can hear the chanting, yelling crowd calling their names, cheering them on. Ahead is a forest of twinkling Christmas trees, a merry maze. Swirls of magical snow drift and rush over the trees, blurring the distance and catching the rainbow of lights. A Christmas cracker cannon is being cranked into place, preparing to herald the opening of the games. A hush falls over the crowd, and with that, confetti and gumdrops explode out of the cannon, showering the stadium and the crowd as the top elf contestants all race forward and are immediately enveloped by a whirl of snow. They have entered the maze.
Mistletoe, as you enter the maze, any thoughts on your mind? I'm going to follow in my father's footsteps and win this competition.
The sound of the crowd fades as the magic of the maze takes you deeper into the brightly lit trees. You smell fresh pine and cinnamon. Mounds of snow highlighted by the merry decorations drift across the path you walk upon. You move through freshly fallen snow, the sound of your footfalls crunching in a very satisfying way. Trees tower on both sides of you, and their lights fill the area in shades of blue, then red, white, then gold. Up ahead, you see an opening in the maze, a fog and snow-swirled clearing, and as you approach, you hear the sound of jingle bells and snow swirls up into your eyes.
It looks like the contestants have reached the first challenge, the stocking stuffer. Here, they must prep 3 stockings with candy canes as quickly as possible.
While maintaining their elf training, of course.
So Mistletoe, you find yourself standing in the dark corner of a living room on Christmas Eve. A tall tree, fully decorated with lights, covers one corner of the room. Under the tree, a toy train on tracks chugs noisily along. Couches and chairs are arranged around a wide end table in the center of the room, and they all face a huge fireplace made of stone. At the base of the fireplace stands a gnome decoration in a pointy hat and holding a drum. A wooden mantle rests above the fireplace, covered in jingle bell garland, family pictures, and knickknacks. 3 long red and white striped stockings dangle down, ready to be filled. On the far end of the room is a tall picture window where you can see snow slowly drifting down and the dim lights of a town just outside the house. Santa will be here soon, and you're tasked with prepping the stockings. Remember your training and hurry along, there is much to do. Mistletoe, how would you approach this situation now that you're standing in the room?
There's nobody awake that I can see in the room.
Not that you can see at the moment, no.
The fireplace brick?
It's a stone fireplace and no fire in it at the moment.
Climbable?
It looks like it if you were to get much closer. You're on the far side of the room at the moment.
I will tiptoe across the room.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a tiptoe check. Okay, a 7 is a success with complications. As you get most of the way across the room, being careful to slide from shadow to shadow, checking corners to make sure that there's nothing of any danger in the room, you freeze in the middle of the room, now stuck in spot because of a danger that you did not see. The gnome toy with the drum that's standing on the fireplace, his eyes light up suddenly, and you see one of his hands above the drum raise, but he hasn't fully noticed you yet. You realize this is a motion-activated toy, and it might have started to see you, but now you're stuck here in the middle. How would you get out of this situation before he makes noise?
Oops, like the song says, you better watch out.
Is there a type of, look like to be any kind of activation switch on this?
If you were to get closer, right now though, you're in the middle of the room with him looking towards you.
Tumble towards him and see if I can.
So you're gonna bust into movement and try to disable him as quick as possible?
Yes.
Okay, so that sounds like it's going to be so knowing that you're in the danger spot as far as him seeing you, you're going to try to move as quick as possible. So that's going to be a disable trap move. You're going to rush towards him as his sticks start to beat the drum. Go ahead and give me a disable trap.
A 13.
You rush towards this gnome. It begins to bang, 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 and you grab it, spin it around, and pull the battery out. And then flip it around and put it back in, knowing that you're not supposed to leave a trace. So you're just going to keep the batteries in, but now it's disabled. All right, so that leaves you at the base of the fireplace. What would you do next?
Do you use these crevices between the stones in the fireplace to try and climb up?
Sure, give me an acrobatics check. 12. With that, you deftly climb the side of the fireplace. Your hand is always going to the right place. There's always a place to step for you when you put your foot up to try to reach a little bit higher. And within a few moments, you find yourself at the top of the fireplace, along the mantle, and from here, it's simple work to go ahead and drop a candy cane in each one. As the last candy cane falls into the stocking, the room swirls with snow and the sound of jingle bells. You feel a cool, crisp wind, and when your vision clears, you find yourself standing in a new place, a child's bedroom. Your back is pressed up against the cold glass, and you see the Christmas snow drifting down across the town outside. Inside the room, you spot the problem right away. The child is not nestled all snug in their bed. In fact, they're across the room and peeking out the door. So we see a dimly lit room of a young girl, no more than 5 or 6 years of age. You stand upon a frosty windowsill just above a stuffed toy box. Nearby, you see the girl's bed, covers tossed away as she snuck out and across her room, peeking out of her door for a glimpse of Santa. You see her dresser, a closet, glow-in-the-dark star stickers in the ceiling. On the floor there are toys and books and models, basketballs, a jump rope, a book about dragons. You see a tiara, a plastic sword, a butterfly puppet, and a bin of plastic building blocks, and it just goes on and on and on. Your task is to get the child back to sleep in her bed, which would be best. Remember, not to be seen, leave no traces, and she cannot see Santa. How would Mistletoe approach this?
What toys are in the general area that I believe I could move myself?
You tell me. Anything that you can imagine would be on the floor in a child's bedroom.
Well, I'm only a few inches tall. She's paying attention to...
She's peeking out the door, so she's not looking inside the room where you're at the moment.
To see if I can quietly drag one of her dolls to the far side of her bed.
Okay, it sounds like a tiptoe move, trying to move quietly. So you slip down off the windowsill and into the room. You manage to get hold of one of her dolls, which is about the same size as you, and drag it along through the maze of toys and building blocks and open books on her floor till you get it over to near her bed. Then what?
Then I am going to put a few of my sleeping dust pods on the doll. And I'm going to jump on the bed quickly and then duck down, try to drop down behind the bed.
Okay, so you're going to jump on the bed to make a little bit of noise and then drop behind it. Okay, give me another tiptoe check. See if you can drop away out of her sight before she notices. So 7 is a success, but as you were in such a hurry, you ricochet off the back wall, and it does knock a little bit of wind out of you, so I'll have you mark a tired star.
Oh, he's gonna feel that in the morning.
But you do drop down below the bed, and it is still enough to gain her attention. You hear her cross the room. You're under the bed now, and you hear her sit on the bed. You hear the springs and the bed frame kind of creak a little bit, and you know that she's very near her doll now. How would you go about setting off those sleeping pods?
I was hoping she would grab her doll.
But she did come to investigate in the direction you were looking for.
I don't want her to know that I'm there. I will attempt to climb back up.
That's easy enough. You manage to climb up the covers. And you see her sitting on the bed, kind of like looking around. She's clearly curious about whatever the noise was of something jumping on her bed, and her doll is sitting right next to her.
Mimic a doll's voice.
Sure, sounds like an improvise. Sounds like an improvise. 14, yeah. You, with practiced ease...
I need a hug.
I think this is probably one of the classes of when you go through elf school of learning how to mimic doll voices. You do call out that I need a hug, and she looks down at her doll, picks it up, and as she picks it up, I'm going to say that the sleeping dust pods are crushed by her grip, because she's a human-sized child and you're an elf. And you see immediately there's a puff of sleeping dust, and she immediately falls asleep on her bed. As the little girl drifts off to sleep, and you can picture the sugar plums dancing in her dreams, you hear the jangle of jingle bells, and a swirl of snow races across the room. When you blink past the rush of wind, you find yourself atop a parking garage. Santa's sleigh is next to you with his 8 reindeer. You know the big man is inside the building next door. A flash of moonlight on something shining on the ground catches your eye, and you realize the main control ring of the reindeer harness is broken. Good thing you spotted it, but you need to find a replacement, and fast. A wide concrete parking garage roof stretches away into the dark night around you. Soft snow dusts every surface, and you see a few parked cars a short ways away. A ramp descends into the lower levels of the garage to one side, and the darkened city skyline stretches out on all sides. You know Santa is visiting the apartment building next to the garage, but will return soon. You must find a way to repair or replace that ring on the reindeer harness. Remember, if you're going to take something that might be missed, you should replace it with the broken ring. Leave no trace.
Just because I haven't used it yet, I'm gonna shake my dad's snow globe.
You take a moment, you shake your dad's snow globe as you see the snow and glitter kind of whirl around, gets kind of foggy, and then as it starts to clear, you see a expensive red sports car inside of the parking garage with a very specific shaped round hood ornament on it. It looks like it would be just the right size.
Right, I will snag the broken ring.
Okay, so you grab the broken ring and
huff it down into the parking garage.
Head down the ramp into the parking garage. Okay. Just running down there and looking for that car?
Paying attention if I hear any voices or movement. I don't want anyone to see me.
Okay, do you want to maybe check and see if there's any dangers?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead and roll with luck. 12. It looks like where that car is, as you run towards the location that you saw in the snow globe, there is a security guard booth not too far from there.
Check to see if the guard is in the booth.
You can hear a little bit of Christmas music coming out of the booth, and you can see his shadow on the mirror, on the windows. So you know he's in there. You can also see with what you rolled in order to check for dangers that there are some security cameras in this section of the garage. So to get past everything, it would probably require another tiptoe check.
Tiptoe to the car.
Okay, go ahead and give me a tiptoe roll. Relying on your luck, you managed to track the camera's movements, as well as paying attention to not being seen from the slightly open doorway to the guard shack. You sneak past the guard shack to the sound of Christmas music. As you see, I think you maybe glance in and you see the guard inside sitting and having a cup of cocoa and tapping his foot. But you do make it to the red sports car with the round-looking hood ornament. Climbing up the front of it, you reach the hood ornament. You wanted to make a check to replace it. Be a disable trap roll. It's a mechanical roll.
Fail. I got a 5.
Okay. So with that, as you're tinkering with the hood ornament, all of a sudden you see the lights on the car start to flash, and a moment later you hear a car alarm start to go off. Almost immediately, the guard steps out of their booth, flashlight scanning the darkness and highlighting the large snowflakes that seem to hang in the air. He's coming, and you scamper away, staying always just out of his light, always just a few steps ahead. You lead him in circles and keep him away from the sleigh until he grows bored and heads back to his booth. You hold your breath waiting to see if it's over, and soon the sound of snoring comes out of the slight crack in the window to the guard booth. He did shut off the alarm to the car, but you know the car now has an alarm. So, you can try to go back to the car and retrieve that, or you can look around for something else that might work.
Did the guard have a lot of keys?
He did have keys on his belt.
Key ring?
A key ring would work. That's one thing that you could use for it, yeah.
And he's sleeping?
He's sleeping. You can hear him snoring.
I'm gonna sneak in the guard booth.
Okay. And try to lift his key ring.
Actually, if he's sleeping, I'm just gonna give him some extra sleep.
You're gonna hit him with a sleep dust pad? Okay.
Give him some extra sleep, and then try to remove the key ring.
So really what you're going to be doing is another disable trap check to replace his key ring, or at least one of his key rings, with the broken sleigh ring. So go ahead and give me another disable trap check. 9 is going to be enough because you got it's with complications. I'm going to say that as you're fumbling with the key ring, he's already very asleep, especially with the sleep dust pods. But your snow globe does fall out and bang against the floor, so I'll have you mark off 1 extra use of the snow globe.
That's no way to treat an antique.
Holding your breath as the snow globe bangs against the floor. It's magical. It's not going to break. You knew that wasn't an issue. You just were hoping he wasn't going to wake up. But his snores continue on. You reattach the keyring with the broken sleigh ring on his belt. And then you jump down, scoop up your snow globe, and rush back up to the top of the parking garage. And with that, it's a simple matter of just replacing it. There's no roll required for that. You manage to reattach the new ring to Santa's sleigh, and you're ready to go. With a snap and a glimmer of magic, the ring reattaches to the harness. Santa's sleigh is repaired. You stand up and dust yourself off. A job well done. And then freeze as you notice something missing. The sound of jingle bells seems to hang in the air as the snow swirls. Taking a few steps back, you start to count and name the reindeer. 1, Dasher. 2, Dancer. 3, Prancer. 4, Vixen. 5, Comet. 6, Cupid. 7, Donner. 7 reindeer? You realize a reindeer is missing. Blitzen must have slipped off the harness while you were repairing the sleigh. Out of the corner of your eye, you see a rapidly descending form of Blitzen, flying through the night air without his harness. You rush to the edge of the parking garage and look down, losing sight of the reindeer, as it lands in the nearby park and runs off into the trees. You need to act fast, get down to that park, and catch up to Blitzen. Somehow, you need to get that reindeer back to the sleigh. The park stretches out into the dark, covered in snow. You see a fountain in the center with a stone bear frozen over with ice, a playground, an ice skating rink, trails to walk on, and benches to sit.
Look at my tinsel rope to descend this down into the park.
Okay, so you're going to rappel down into the park using the tinsel rope? Sounds easy enough. There's no. I will have you make an acrobatics check just for the sheer physicality of it. 9. So you end up sliding a little bit quicker than what you meant to. And I'll have you mark one more tired as you kind of land on the ground a little bit hard.
Oh, tinsel burns are the worst.
But you are now on the ground level, and you run into the park. How would you go about finding Blitzen?
I am going to resort to my globe again.
Okay. So you shake up the globe, and again you have that swirl of glitter and snow and confetti inside. You see the fog swirl, and then as it fades away, you see an image of your dad using oats in the survival kit to lure the reindeer to him. So it looks like at one point he must have done something like this and had to get the reindeer to come back to him. So using a improvised skill with oats should bring Blitzen back as long as you're successful.
I will give that a go.
Great. Go ahead and so you rush into the park and pull the oats out of your survival kit and
Spread them around.
spread them around. Go ahead and give me an improvised check. 9. Okay, that's enough that Blitzen does come back. He comes running back. He does bang into you a little bit, which will mark off the last use of your snow globe. Because, it scatters out. Your pockets aren't as deep as what they should be, and your snow globe is not as secure. But he bangs into you and starts eating the oats, at which point you grab hold of the reins, climb up on top of him, and then it's simple enough. All elves know how to fly on reindeer. You fly him back up to the parking garage.
On Blitzen.
As you secure Blitzen's harness and all 8 reindeer prance and pace in excitement, you hear a kindly chuckle behind you and the sound of jingle bells. A swirl of snow blows by as you turn and see Santa standing there with a wide smile.
Well, I hope the reindeer didn't give you too much trouble. You're doing a great job, and we're all finished for the night. Why, every child on Earth has been given a gift from the North Pole. I really couldn't do this without you elves. Say, since it's been such a long night, why don't you pilot the sleigh? I'll take a nap in the back. But do try to get us back to the North Pole as fast as you can and keep the sleigh in one piece, all right? Ho, ho, ho!
And you find yourself flying in the night, high over the darkened earth. On your right, the sky is growing light. The sun is coming up on Christmas morning, and you have to hurry back to the North Pole. Looking left and right, you see your fellow competitors, and know that this part of the competition will be a straight-up race.
Thank you for joining us on this second episode of the Top Elf Games, presented by Gen XP, an original holiday adventure written by Guy and Jen Pope. Hopefully everybody had fun. Tune in next time to see how our third and final contestant does. Happy holidays, everyone.